If you're looking for something to give you that little bit of extra energy, then look no further than Rocket Fuel. Great tasting coffee and hot chocolate that packs a punch to help you work and game longer. Check out the link in the description below for a wide range of options available to you. Hi guys, it's Andy from NismoTechUK. Today we're having a look at a fantastic looking case. It is the BitFenix Ronin. Okay, so starting with the front of the case, we have got the BitFenix logo, and I see the actual badge and logo up at the top here. The website down at the bottom, nothing much more to report on there. And again, a little bit of branding on that side. On this side of the box, we have got 4 or 5 different special features about the Ronin. We've got the soft touch surface treatment, interchangeable mesh strips along the top and the front. We can fit a 240mm radiator in the roof. We also have a stealth cover that covers up the hard drive bays, a large side window, and we can also fit long graphics cards. And again, on this side, down at the bottom, we have got some of the key specifications, but we're going to cover that once we get this out of the box. Okay, so let's start with the side panel of the actual case, the side windowed. As you can see, cover. And there we go, so it's nice and shiny, as you can see. So we've got a really nice large side window on the actual case itself. So I'm just going to take the thumb screws off, and then we can get into the actual case itself. Okay. Now the actual side panel itself is really quite strong, despite the fact that the majority of it is obviously the window itself, so that's quite impressive. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at is one of the obvious features of the BitFenix Ronin, and that is the actual stealth panel that you can see here. Obviously, the main idea of it is to hide the hard drive bays, the optical bays, the PSU, etc. So when you are looking into the case, you're not going to see all the cables and all the kerfuffle that's going on there. Now, some people are going to really like this, some potentially are not. I personally quite like the idea of this. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove the stealth cover. It's not the easiest of things to remove, but once you've done it a couple of times, it does become a lot easier. I'll just pull that out. As you can hopefully see, we've got some plastic lugs that you literally just squeeze together in order to remove them. And the actual panel itself has got a carbon fibre effect, which looks really good. The only thing I will say is that it does actually attract fingerprints quite a lot, so it may be something to sort of bear in mind that you are going to have to sort of give this a wipe down if you do want to keep that fresh professional look to your build. Okay, so that's the stealth cover removed. As you can see, we do have the metal supporting bar for that down at the bottom and the side here. Apart from that, the interior is completely black, which is something that I really like. The cables are all black as well, coming from the front I/O ports that we'll have a look at a little bit later. So that's a really, really good plus point. Okay, so on to the hard drive caddies. As you can see, we've got 3 at the bottom and 3 in the middle section. This one is very easily removed, the others are screwed in as far as I can see. With this removed, you are able to fit graphics cards probably up to around about 420mm in length, and potentially also once both cages are removed, you are able to obviously install pumps, radiators potentially in there as well. When the drive caddy is pushed back in, you're looking at a maximum length of 300mm for your graphics card. Now onto the actual caddies itself. As you can see, we have got a couple of red warning labels on these, and the main reason being is that they're extremely flexible indeed. As you can see, you don't really want to be sort of bending them too much because they will snap. However, they are toolless, and the way that they operate is quite cool. You open them up like so. You would then stick your hard drive into place, line the actual holes up to the actual hard drive like so. Push it all in, close them all up, and there you go, your hard drive is then in place. It's really that simple. The other good thing about each one of them as well is that you are able to install a 2.5-inch drive as well with the actual mounting holes here. So that's a really nice feature. Okay, moving up to the top, you can see that we have got 3 5.25-inch bays. They are a toolless optical installation. Just pull that up. Essentially, just push the drive back in through the front of the case and then close it into place like that. It's really that simple, which is quite good. You also get with this a 3.25 or 3.5-inch adapter as well. So if you have got a floppy drive or a small card reader or something like that nature, you just also put that into place, which is quite nice to have. Moving on to the motherboard support, we are able to install a ATX and also a micro ATX motherboard into the actual case itself. As you can see, all the cables themselves coming from the front I/O, etc. are all nice and black, which is really nice to see. The only thing that is missing from this particular case is rubber grommets. Obviously where the cables go through the various different cable management holes. We do have 3 of them, so potentially it could do with having an additional hole as well to feed cables through, but obviously for the most part that will be quite adequate for the majority of systems. Looking at the bottom of the case around the PSU area, you can see that we have got these sort of quite thin but soft rubber mounts for your PSU to actually sit on, which is quite good. We also have filters down at the bottom here and also room for a 120mm fan as well. Moving on to this side of the case, we can see that we've got a sort of average size cutout for your CPU heatsink cooler. If you do need to actually go ahead and replace that without removing the motherboard. We have got numerous amount of cable tie down options here. They're not the biggest hoops in the world, but there are several of them dotted around the actual back of the motherboard tray. As you can see, obviously the cables that are pre-installed obviously with the front I/O are already routed down there. They're not cable tied in, so you are able to remove them and put them into position as to where you want them. You can see that we have got a reasonable amount of room back here for access to the hard drives, etc. The cables should be okay if you do have multiple hard drives coming in. And if I bring you in a little bit closer, we have around about 20mm of room between the motherboard tray and the back of the case. So the 24-pin ATX power cable should be okay, obviously being routed in and up the top here in order to get to your motherboard. Also up at the top we have got a couple more additional holes for power cables, fan cables, whatever it may be, to run through the actual motherboard tray itself. Moving on to the top I/O, we have got 2 USB 2.0, 2 USB 3.0 and your 2 audio jacks, your headphone and your microphone, a couple of LEDs, a power LED as well as a hard drive indication LED, a nice size power button with a very small reset button, so you are just about able to actually push that down to actually reset the system. The other thing to note about the actual top, obviously it does feature the soft touch rubberized finish, which is a really nice feature, very strong, obviously a nice amount of ventilation up at the top. We also have these interchangeable mesh strips that run right from the top all the way down to the actual front of the actual case itself. I'm not quite sure as to what colours are available, how you actually change them, or where you actually buy the strips from, but by the sounds of things they are easy to be removed, which is potentially a good thing if you do want to add a bit of colour to the actual black exterior. Okay, so on to the roof of the actual case here. So I've removed the top panel now, so you are able to install 2 120mm fans or 2 140mm fans, and it will also support up to 240mm radiators in the roof. Now the one thing that I do want to point out, as you can see down here, the actual front I/O ports are actually sort of secured onto the actual roof of the case itself, onto the actual plastic panel on the top. So as you can see, I've had to feed the cables all the way up in order to basically remove the actual top panel, which is a bit of a pain. So that's something to very much bear in mind if you are looking to install water cooling or a monster radiator up at the top. You potentially are going to have to remove all the cables in order to sort of gain access in order to actually install that. Moving on to the front of the case, obviously the soft touch finish continues right from the top to the bottom. We have got the BitFenix logo right up the front here, obviously with a lot of ventilation for the actual fans that are installed on the inside of the case. We have 3 5¼ inch bays that look really good with the soft touch finish. So I'm now going to remove the front panel and we're going to have a look and see what we have behind this. Okay, so I've now removed the front panel of the Ronin. One thing to note is that on the inside we don't have any sort of dust filtering or anything like that nature. It's just literally plain ventilation. But what we do have is a fan filter built onto the pre-installed 120mm fan. Now they do also supply an additional one for a bottom mounted 120mm fan as well. So we've got one that's pre-installed, option for another one, and also a fan filter to go onto the front of that, which is really good. I really like the fact that they've thought about that. Moving on to the bottom of the case, as you can see we've got a very large fan filter here that covers the PSU intake as well as the 120mm fan intake. This is magnetic, which is really nice. It's quite a strong magnetic, to be fair, so it's going to be very easy to actually clean. You've not got to worry about moving your case as such. In order to gain access, you just simply lift it up and you can then basically remove the actual fan filter. Onto the actual feet, we've got quite a nice feet here. They've got a silver rim around them and they've got a very soft sort of feel to the actual bottom of them as well, so it's going to help with vibration and also scratching potential surfaces. Okay, so let's now have a look at the accessories that come with the BitFenix Ronin. As we've already seen, we have got a spare front fan filter for the front fan. We have got the 3.5 inch bay adapter for the 5¼ inch optical bay. You're able to put a hard drive, an SSD, or indeed a floppy drive or anything like that nature on the actual adapter. Also included, we have got the quick installation guide for the Ronin. Tells you things about how to install the drives, remove the dust filters, the front I/O, etc. And we also have this box here, which I'm just going to cut the actual seal for, so we can have a look and see what we get inside. And inside here we have got some nice black screws for various different things. Let me just pull this out so we can have a look. And also some black cable ties. Also you've got fan screws, you've got motherboard screws, hard drive screws, etc. Okay, so now on to my overall thoughts about the BitFenix Ronin case. Starting with the exterior of the case, I really like the soft rubber finish that has been applied to the front and also the roof of the actual case itself. This sleek design, along with the mesh grills that run parallel on either side going up the front and across the roof of the actual case, make it look really attractive indeed. I also like the amount of ventilation that comes in through the roof and also from the front panel as well, and the fact that behind this you do get one 120mm fan with a dust filter attached to the actual fan, and also a spare one in case you decide to add an additional fan is a real nice touch. Now, as you would have noticed a little bit earlier in the video when I was talking about removing the roof panel and the top I/O connectors, the fact that you had to pull all the cables through in order to remove the top panel completely, I said that it would have been nice for them to stay there. I do want to retract that, because when I was building the test rig into the system, I found it a lot easier to manage the cabling when the actual front I/O ports, power switches, etc., front header was not there. So I think it's actually a really good feature, the fact that you are able to remove the roof and all the front connectors easily, and then also just put them down into place once you've done your install. The fact that you are able to remove both hard drive caddies is also a real good plus point. It means that obviously you're not necessarily limited to having just one cage left in there. You are able to remove both, so it's a real good plus point, especially for those that are looking to install water cooling or just want to basically give it sort of more air for the actual front intake fans to blow across your motherboard. The hard drive caddies themselves are a bit flimsy, but at the end of the day they do their job, and once a hard drive, a 3.5-inch drive, is in place, it does become very sturdy, and there's hardly any vibration from a mechanical drive when connected to the case. At first I didn't particularly like the stealth cover. It sort of got in my way a little bit and sort of gave me a view that I'm obviously not used to. But now after working with the case now for a number of weeks, I have grown to like the stealth cover. I think it does a fantastic job of hiding the components that really you probably wouldn't want to see. Your PSU, your hard drives, etc., and obviously your optical bay. But again, the option to remove this along with all the connectors that put the stealth panel in place, all the bars, is also a real good plus point. So you've got the best of both worlds from this. The build quality on the BitFenix Ronin is absolutely superb. Can't fault the build quality, the overall finish, the black inside. There's no sort of faded areas in any way. The vented PCI slots at the back of the case are really good. And generally, all round, it's an extremely nice and easy and pleasing case to deal with. There's plenty of room out the back for cable management. Didn't have any issues routing a 24-pin connector around the back of the actual motherboard tray itself. The only thing that I would have liked to have seen is to have rubber grommets put on the cutouts for the cabling. So I personally think this is an excellent case, and considering its price, I would actually say it's extremely good value for money. Obviously BitFenix are renowned for their quality cases, and this BitFenix Ronin does not let them down in any way. So I hope you liked the unboxing and overview of the BitFenix Ronin. Please leave a comment down below if you liked the video, leave a like if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. We hoped you liked our video review. If you did, then please leave a like as well as any comments or questions you may have down below. Full details and specifications on this item can be found at our website NismoTech.com, along with all the links for purchasing if you wish. Also on our site you'll find our latest reviews and current giveaways, plus a lot more. We look forward to seeing you in our next review.